So, hello everyone, myself Sachin Kumar. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants to join this session, and I will also thanks to our today's speaker Shaktival Madesh. He is a lightning champion, Salesforce MPP, and 16x certified. Worked in Tech4 services. He is sharing his knowledge with us. So today's topic is LWC debugging, local development, and Visual Studio proactive tips. Yeah. Shakti, can you
Yeah.
move to the next slide?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for introducing me. You already introduced about myself. Yeah, that's fine. Good. As you mentioned, I'm Saktivel Madesh. I am recently a Salesforce MEP, Lightning Champion, and 16x certified, 6x Ranger, and I'm working as a senior Salesforce developer in Tech4 services. And I'm active on the social channels like Twitter and LinkedIn. So you can reach me anytime. I'm happy to share my knowledge, and even I'm happy to learn from you all. And let's all succeed together with the Salesforce Dial Placer community. Before starting this session, I would like to say thank you to the New Delhi Developer Groups team, to leaders, to inviting and having me, and big thanks for the sponsors for my company Tech4 services, and also the big thanks to all the participants. And today, Ajanta, as you mentioned, for Lightning Web Component debugging and local development for Lightning Web Component and Visual Studio Code productive tips. And in between, you have any question or clarification you need, please go to this pit.ly/lwc-qa. You just log your question or clarification. Whenever I have the time in later point of view, I will try to answer as much as possible.
Okay, Madesh. So guys, we are the New Delhi developer group and we are in the Salesforce community since February 2016. This is our Twitter handler, twitter.com/New Delhi Developer SFDC Doug, and this is our Trailblazer group link bit.ly/New Delhi community, and we also have New Delhi Developer Group website, that is New Delhi sfdcdoug.com. So I urge to everyone, please follow us on Twitter and please go and check our website to know more about our New Delhi Developer Group and its initiatives. Can you move to the next slide? Yes, yeah. So Impact Salesforce Saturday, New Delhi Developer Group has taken several initiatives. Impact Salesforce Saturday is one of them. Impact Salesforce Saturday is a series of Salesforce Saturday sessions. So we have doing this for a couple of years. Actually, this program is called as Virtual Salesforce Saturday. Now we have rebranded it Impact Salesforce Saturday. You can find all our upcoming and past sessions which we have organized in these links. These links I will share in chat as well. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So Talent Central. So New Delhi Developer Group has recently introduced a new initiative, that is Talent Central. Talent Central is like Naukri, Monster, and Indeed. Basically, it is a portal where a student who is looking for a job in Salesforce ecosystem and the companies which are looking for the freshers and who have less experience in Salesforce ecosystem can register over there. So you can leverage this platform. Okay, and I would like to request you all the students, please join this portal. This is our link, that is talentcentralglobal.com. Okay, move to the next slide, Shakti. Yeah, Mentorship Central. Mentorship Central platform is which allows our mentor and mentees to connect them. This platform is basically for all who want to grow in Salesforce ecosystem. In this platform, we have experienced mentors who will help their mentees with their guided path. So they will suggest like which what are the next step to achieve that goal. Suppose somebody is looking for developer certification, so the mentor will guide him like how he can process that one, what are the trail mix he needs to do. Okay, so you can leverage this platform to register yourself as a mentee or a mentor. This is the link where you can register. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. So we are thanks our sponsors Cloud Vandana and Tech Force Services. One more thing, at last we have a quiz. I will share, I will urge to everyone, please do one thing in the session of, in this session, whatever you will learn, you will find a new thing. Just take a picture of that particular topic or that particular thing and post on Twitter, hashtag impact Salesforce Saturday. So over to you, Shakti.
Oh, okay. Thanks for all the introduction. Okay. As per the last two session, I explained about why LWC and what are the benefits we have. We start the LWC and what are the prerequisites need to build the LWC component, and everything I covered in the first session. And the second session I covered about the communication with events, how to pass the data from the child to parent with a declarative way and programmatic way and bubbling and bubsub component. And I covered some information about the Lightning data services and how to call the Apex controller to LWC component using that wire method and imperatively way. And also I showed some of the navigation services and how to share the JavaScript code to the Lightning web component. So these are the topics I covered in the previous session. So from today, the topic about the LWC debugging. Yeah, as a developer, once we implemented the code, we need to know how to debug the code in case any error occur after the production deployed, right? So for this Lightning web component, there are two ways actually for the we can say the debugging, one for the production mode and one for the debug mode. For the production mode, basically without debug log, it's enabled. Once you log that console, you say as a with minified JavaScript, it's returned that your API track or wire properties and everything, it's written as a proxy values, right? So using this debug mode, we have the capability to unminimize JavaScript and return from proxy values to the regular return data as an array type. And using the debug mode, we can get that some, if in case any errors or warnings for the Lightning Web Component engines, we can get those information. So I will show you how to do the debugging for the Lightning Web Component. So basically, once we enable the debug mode to make it easier to debug the JavaScript code from the browser, but make sure once we enable the debug mode for the users who are doing the debug in the Lightning Web Component, the Salesforce is slower for the user who have debug mode enabled. So make sure to enable the debug mode in either the sandbox or developer or production. That's fine, but make sure whenever you are trying to enable the debug mode in the production, so it may have impact about the performance issue. So make sure whenever you are debugging from the production directly, make sure once your debug is completed, then try to disable the debug thing, right? And also whenever we inspect the property, I will show you how to debugging from the Google Chrome thing. For that, let me log in my developer account. Before proceeding further, for the last two sessions, I already committed the codes in my Git branch. So you can navigate my Git repository in the, go to the GitHub and navigate the SecQL SFDC. From there, you can find the repository called LWC-session. From here, you can find all the last two session codes, right? If you see here the Lightning Web Component, I committed the first session code I already committed. The second session code I committed today. So you can find out all the components for about the Lightning Web Component session for the previous session. Okay, let's move on this debugging thing. Okay, so here basically, as I mentioned, the debugging mode, there are two ways, one for production mode and another for the debugging mode. So here I am not enabled the debugging in my developer account. Let me go to this data table Lightning Web Component. So here basically I list out some few accounts information. I will also show you about the component. Let me close all this. Okay, so this, yeah. So this is a component we used to display the accounts. If you noticed here from the HTML markup, I use the Lightning data table. Here I am passing the data in the account list property, and I define some column list in the controller. Let me go to this controller. If you noticed here, I defined the column list, ID, name, website, and industry, those in the listed in the UI. And whenever the components gets loaded, I call this default fetch recent accounts. From here, I call this imperative Apex call to get the account information. Let me go to this account controller and get account method. If you noticed here in the account list, I'm returning as a list for the accounts for 5 accounts, right? So that's the reason here initially whenever it's getting loaded, the first 5 accounts get listed. Okay, and whenever clicking the show all from the UI, I called from the on click, I called the show all. From the show all, again I called this get all account, the imperative call from the Apex class. From the get all account, if you noticed here, I displayed all the accounts. For the initial call, we displayed only 5 accounts, and whenever clicking the checkbox, we showed all the accounts. That's a logic actually. For situation, whenever I'm clicking the show all, if in case the account is not displayed in later point of view after we move to the production, if they come back as an issue, then how to debug from the Google Chrome. That's what I'm trying to explain this session. For that, go to the inspect, either right click and click the inspect and go to the Google Chrome, and from more tools and click the developer tools, or use the key shortcut called F12 from your keyboard. So then it's get opened the console, the inspector view. If you noticed, there are console and source. From the source, under the Lightning folder, you can see the modules -c, that is a namespace, and you will get to know all the components with relevant to that particular page, right? So for this, let me refresh again. So this particular page, we use the data table LWC. If you click this module, and you will get that relevant component. So click that Lightning data table. So this is the for production mode. Actually, I'm not enabled the debug mode. Okay. So then in that case, if I'm not enabled the debug mode, we can get the JavaScript with a minified way. For if you noticed here, Freddy print, so it will get the nicely way you can view your JavaScript for the Lightning Web Component. And if in case, if you want to debug, as I mentioned, the show all, whenever I'm clicking the show all, if in case I'm not getting the values, if I want to debug this particular portion, then click the break. You click the break and try to click again. Okay, so from here you will get to know the results, right? The results will be for this API tracker or tracker, or if you are using that wired properties, it's coming in the proxy values. So if you want to debug, so if you go to the results, you get to know all the results in the array way. But if you try to, from the console, if you try to print that result, right? If you try to print that account result, it's getting as a proxy, but to get the exact result, go to handler and click the original target. From there, you can find out all the information, right? This is the way we can get that all the values in the debug mode. Sorry, the production mode. Let me go to enable the debug mode and I will show you the way. But before that, I will show, once we print this account list, we get the proxy and then we can get the result in build down that original target. We can get all the result, right? The same way, let me try to enable the debug mode from the user perspective. From then, we can easy way to get that all the results. So go to the debug mode and enable the debug as per the particular users. So I'm trying to enable my accounts in the debug mode. Let me try to refresh. The same thing, same component I want to debug. Under the using the debug mode, I added the breakpoint for this account list, right? So now I'm clicking this show all. So if you noticed here, I'm getting this result, right? Then go to the console and type this account list. Then again, it's coming as a proxy, but that's fine. But from the Google Chrome, go to the settings icon, this gear icon, click the settings and enable the custom formatters. When we inspect this, Chrome will include all kinds of information about the proxy that is used to implement a track or API at wire, right? So once we enable these custom formatters in inspector under the settings, once we enabled, our debugging experience performs it's much more better. Okay, so I will show you that I enabled this enable custom formatters. So it's a default, it's not enabled. So make sure we need to enable under the settings, right? So go to the settings and under the console. So in that last item, enable custom formatters. So make sure to enable. Now let's go to print the same thing, account list. Now we are getting that array, whatever we are getting from the result. So this is the way we can easy way to debugging from the Google Chrome inspector. So we don't need to install any plugins. It's a standard Google Chrome behavior. Only thing we need to enable the custom formatters in the inspector settings. For that, go to the settings and enable the custom formatters, right? But if you are not enabled, then we need to use with JSON stringify in order to modify, get the result from the proxy variables. So this is a simple way we can debug for the Lightning Web Component. Not only the Lightning Web Component, it's same thing applicable for the RR component also, right? And from the Lightning Web Component, you can use with the Jest framework also, that is a JavaScript testing framework. You can install the plugins from the Visual Studio Code, and you can debug your test class, like how we are testing for the Apex classes, right? Whenever we are writing the Apex class or triggers, we are writing the Apex test classes. Similar way, whenever we are writing the Lightning Web Component, we can do that Lightning Web Component test classes also. From such a way, we can do to test that Lightning Web Component, but that's not a mandatory, but as per the good practice, we can build that Lightning Web Component test classes using some framework. Salesforce suggested that Jest is one of the JavaScript test framework. We can utilize that. Okay. Next one, the local development for the Lightning Web Component. As part of the Winter 20 release, Salesforce introduced the local development for the Lightning Web Component. It's a local development server is a Salesforce CLI plugin in the configures and runs a Lightning Web Components. It's enabled the server on your computer actually. You can develop the Lightning Web Components and have the capability to see the results without pushing or deploying your Lightning Web Component to your Salesforce org. As a developer, we used to spend a lot of time pushing that components to on Salesforce org, testing them and finding any issue, then correcting the issue, and again we are pushing one more time and testing again and so on, right? These features saves a lot of time as a Salesforce developer. Now there is no need to deploy to an org to preview your component. The local developer server will also show if in case any errors, you can see that errors without deploying that particular component to your Salesforce org. You can see the result from your local system itself. And also we can see the real-time Salesforce data in the local development environment, like using Lightning Data Services, UI, API, and Apex controller also. After complete the development and testing locally, everything is fine, then you can finally deploy with the defect-free code to the Salesforce server. As of now, it's a beta version. It's not generally available. So some of the functionality is still not supported by the Salesforce, like flexi-page rendering is not available at the moment. So we have some workaround definitely, but at the moment it's not supported all the things. Some of the Lightning components like Lightning map or some of the things it's not available, but definitely we can use it for this local development for the productive features for the Salesforce developer to build the components and test it in the local development for the Lightning Web Component, and how the components its work, and it gets the increases for the developer productivity and increase the customer satisfaction also. As I mentioned, it's a beta version. In order to achieve this, we need to install the SFDC plugins called LWC Dev Server. I will show you where we need to install. Go to your Visual Studio Code and click the terminal. If it's not enabled default, go to that terminal, and here go to the terminal window. From there, you need to install the LWC Dev Server. For installing that LWC Dev Server, the command is sfdx plugins :install @salesforce lwc-dev-server. So this is the command basically to install the LWC dev server in order to develop or view your Lightning Web Component in the local browser itself. For example, if you are in a Java developer or .NET developer or PHP developer, whenever you are building your component, we can preview the data or preview the UI from your local server, your local computer itself, instead of deploying your files to the hosting servers, right? Similar approach, the Salesforce introduced this Lightning Web Component to execute in the preview in your local computer itself, instead of deploying or pushing the component into server for the Salesforce server, right? So for that, it's a beta version. So basically it's not available in the standard SFDX plugin, SFDX CLI. So in order to achieve, we need to install this particular plugin. So once generally available, then you don't need to install this plugin, but before that, we need to utilize this beta version. We need to make sure we need to install this SFDX plugins to utilize these features. Okay. So for me, I already installed, so I don't want to install, but this is the command basically. Okay. And once you installed, make sure you need to update that SFDX plugin also. And also, if you go here, plugins and add the help, you will get to know all the comments. SFDX plugins. So see, these are the comments about the plugins. So first one, generate. Even you can generate your own plugin also. For that, you need to use this plugins colon generate. To install any of the plugins, we need to use plugins colon install and link. And if you want to uninstall the plugins, yes, go to plugins uninstall and mention your plugin names to uninstall the plugins. And if you want to update the SFDX plugins, go to SFDX plugins colon update. Okay, so I already installed. Let me show you the plugins. What are the things I installed from my computer? If you notice here, so LWC dev server 2.50 I already installed. Okay. Once you installed, we need to start the local development server, right? For that, go to Control-Shift-P for the command palette, or go to view and click the command palette, or from gear icon, click the command palette. Basically, I used Control-Shift-P, the shortcut key, and then type local development, local, that's fine. If you see that there are 3 commands available, one for open local development server, stop local development server, and start local development server. So in order to start that, preview the Lightning Web Component in your browser, we need to start the server basically. If you click that open local development server, its default gets started and it's open in the portal called localhost and 33343 in the portal from your local browser. And here it's get displayed all your Lightning Web Components, right? So in my project, these are the Lightning Web Components. So that's the reason it's a lengthy component list. So in order to preview any of the component, go to click that component and you will get to the result. For that, let me click this demo one hello world component. It's displayed as per that components, right? It's easy way we can preview the result from the local itself. without deploying to the server. Right? You can go back and get the result again, right? And let me go again the same component. Hello world, yeah. And if you're clicking this view in VS Code, it's getting open. It's getting open the particular component in your Visual Studio Code also, right? How it is easy, right? Let me go back. So this is a simple component, right? Let me go to this hello world component, the data binding, right? So this is one of the hello world component. So we binding whatever that I entered the value, it's getting changed, right? And even we can use this custom labels also. So whatever the custom labels I showed in the demo, right? In the custom label, if I am going to this demo, okay. So if in order to get that preview for your custom label things, make sure your folder directory, that particular custom label scenario also, that custom metadata also require. For my case, it's not available. So what we can do is we can go to the Arc browser. So Arc browser is nothing but whatever you enabled, you authenticated from the Visual Studio Code, that particular arcs. So you can get all the metadata from your relevant Salesforce arc under the Arc browsers. So whatever, if you want to retrieve and to rework in particularly, so such a case, you can go to, for instance, for example, I have some flows, right? So I want to retrieve the flows to modify some changes, right? So then in that case, go to click that flows, and you can retrieve either the specific component, or if you click this retrieve source from Arc, the cloudy icon, all the flows related components gets downloaded to from your local project directory. So such a way, instead of getting all the component, if you want to work some certain particular component, then you can go to retrieve that particular component instead of everything, right? For these custom labels again, so I'm going to retrieve everything. So for this particular preview, it's not displayed from the custom labels, whatever I defined from the custom label. For the reason is I don't have the custom labels from my local project. So I'm trying to retrieve using this Arc browser. Okay. So let's get to retrieve. Before that, let me go to some other demo. I will go with the static resources. Static resources, if you see here, the static resources logic, I already have that static resources. Okay, it gets retrieved for the custom labels. Let me go to refresh that custom label again. I'm going to this custom label. See, it's not rendered. For that, we need to stop the server, or we need to restart the server, right? For that, I'm going to stop the local development server. It's stopped. Let me restart that server. For that, I'm clicking this open local development server. It's restarting the local development server for the Lightning Web component. Okay, it's restarted. Okay, yeah, it's restarted. If you noticed here, the custom label appear now, right? Some cases we need to restart the server as well, right? Whenever to re-render, right? Okay. So this is static thing. Okay. If in case, for this case also, let me open this particular demo 6 component. If you noticed here, I'm just add some static values. And I'm clicking the save. If you notice here, automatically from my browser, it gets refreshed and get the new result. So we don't need to refresh again and again. Whenever you are changing something from your local Lightning Web Component or any HTML file or JavaScript, it's automatically rendering in your browser. Now, so how to get that real-time the Salesforce data? Is the real-time Salesforce data also possible for this local development? Yes, it's possible. For that, let me open one of the component called Lightning Data Table. That is the component name I used. So the Lightning, before go that, let me open the component from my Visual Studio Code. So this is the component basically. I'm using this to achieve Lightning Data Table, the base Lightning component I used. So again, data here I'm passing this account list property columns column list, right? From the JavaScript, I used to get the accounts from Apex class. Once the connected callback is rendered, I call this default fetch account from this. Here call this get account. Get account is nothing but this. We are imported the get account from the Salesforce Apex. Right. So once we got the result, the results get assigned in the account list property. So we simply assign that account list in the data property. Right. Let me go to preview this in the Lightning local development server. For that, either we can navigate from this component list. That is a one way we can preview the component, or other way around, any component for that particular, either HTML or JavaScript, click that right click from your mouse and click SFDX preview comment locally, or other way around, from your Explorer, right click and preview component locally. From, if you noticed here, there are 3 features available to preview your Lightning Web Component, either the desktop or Android emulator or iOS simulator. So yes, you can preview as per the desktop mode, or even if you are using your Lightning Web Component or approach from the mobile, either Android or iOS also it's possible, but only thing you need to install the certain emulator, either the Android or iOS supported, right? I'm choosing this desktop browser. It's getting directly opening that particular component. If you noticed here, we are getting the Salesforce data from local itself, right? So as I mentioned, as per my logic, initially it's getting loaded in the 5 records. Here have the search capability. So whenever you are type, it's getting rendered as per that type. Let's try to create one account in Salesforce. Let's see that particular accounts gets displayed here or not, right? From my developer account, I'm going to create one account. Before that, see, I'm searching my name, Sakti. Okay, here, let me try to create one account called Sakti Demo 4. Okay, I'm clicking the save. Okay, now let's try to refresh this particular Lightning Data Table component, and I'm searching as Sakti. If you noticed, we will get that real-time data also. So that means we can use that Salesforce data also to view the Lightning component with the local development server. So how it is easy, right? So as a developer, so instead of every time deploying that particular component, so we can easy way to develop the component and we can get that result from local itself. Once we finalize, then we can deploy that particular component and we can get the results from finally from the server. And if you, okay. Yeah. So this is about that local development Lightning Web Component prerequisites and setup. As I mentioned, it's a beta version. So that's the reason we need to install this LWC dev server, the plugins from the SFDX, right? And also here I covered, there are three comments available: local development server, and for the opening or start or stop, right? And I showed the all over component, Lightning data table component in the local development for the Lightning Web Component. Okay, let's move for the next topic about this Visual Studio Code productive tips. So as I mentioned, whenever we are developing that Lightning Web Component, we can't to develop from the standard like developer console from the Salesforce. So in order to create the Lightning Web Component, you need to use any the third-party tool or Visual Studio Code. From the Visual Studio Code, the Salesforce also strongly recommended and Salesforce also provided the plugins. So whenever the new updates happening, the Salesforce keep on updating from the Salesforce extension pack, right? So as a developer, if you get to know some shortcuts to develop the Lightning Web Component, that is an easy way, right, to build that component, either the Apex class or trigger or VF pages or Lightning Web Component or Aura components, right? I have some few tips. Maybe some of the things you already aware, that's fine. If you, some of the things, it's maybe useful, right? I will show you that those things. Let me close it. So actually the Lightning Web Component here, this left side, this is called the sidebar, and this particular thing, it's called as a explorer, the file explorer, and right, and whenever the components it's get loaded, that is called a editor view. And if you performing your like any comments, right, so you can perform the output panel, right? And here the bottom bar also there, right? These all are the important the components things, right? Okay, so let's go to this command palette. So whenever you are executing, so for instance, you are install any extension, right? Now we are installed the Salesforce extension pack with Salesforce provided one. This particular pack have the 7 components in predefined. It's included. That's called the extension pack. So you once we install this particular extension pack as Salesforce provided, it's automatically covered all these features like creating the Apex class or debugging, Apex debugging or CLI or VF page creation, Aura component or Lightning Web component, everything is included, right? So whenever we installed anything, any extension, right? Not only the Salesforce extension, if you install any GitHub related, or if you install any other Apex PMT, right? So any extension you install, you need to execute the command, right? For executing the command, basically we need to go to command palette. So for go to execute the command, so basically we need to click that view and go to the command. Actually, before I'm starting, I'm discussing about this Windows operating system. If it is a Mac, mostly the same, but the key is different. Here, basically, Windows it's called control, but in the Mac it's like called command, right? Okay, so code, right? For view command palette, and we can execute the command either sfdx colon all the sfdx related command appear, right? If in case any git, right? If I'm installing any git related extension, then all the related the command appear, right? So to easily navigate command palette, you use this Control Shift P as a key shortcut. Okay, so instead of every time go to click view on command palette to execute the command, it's a easy way. If you know that command, the shortcut, it's a very easy. Control Shift P, right? It's easy, right? Or we need to go to the gear icon to go to command palette, right? The next one, if you are searching the files, right? If you are, for instance, let me open any of the component. Okay, so if you want to search this particular thing, you can easy way Control F. That is everyone knows, right? Control F, and if you navigate this one and click Control F, it's automatically populated. And using this up and down arrow, you can easy way to find out what are the places it's identified. Let me go to type Control plus Shift plus P for opening the command palette. I think spelling is correct, right? A-L-G. Control Shift P and searching the file, simply Control plus F. It's a single file, right? I'm opening this particular JavaScript and click that show toast event and clicking Control F, it's automatically populated, and we can using this up and arrow down, we can identify what are the places it's referred. It's a single file, right? If in case, if I want to replace, instead of the show toast event, if I want to replace something different, then click Control H. This is the finding variable, finding value, and this is the you can add that value to replace, right? Control H. That is a replace. It's for the singles, right? If I want to search from my entire project, for in that case, we need to simply use Control Shift F. Control Shift F to identify the values from entire project. So toast event. So here it's getting searched from your project directory and get the result. For instance, here there are 9 results in 2 files. So this is the way we can easy way to identify. For this is the one for single file. If you want to search from multiple file, it's easy. In between, we need to add Shift key. Shift F, and I know many of them knows. If you don't know already, then it's a cool features actually to use the key shortcut as a developer, right? Okay, and the same way, if you want to search, or if you want to search and replace from the entire project, again click Control Shift H and add the replace value, and using this icon you can replace all automatically. Either you can use the key shortcut called Control Alt Enter, or use this icon to replace entire files also as per the search result. Okay, fine. another one features. Before that, let me show you this. Okay, so I am in the Lightning Web Component file. Let me try to open this particular component, COVID tracker main.html. Let me try to open the JavaScript controller. If you noticed, it's keep on opening with the same tab, right? If you noticed here, instead of the separate tab, it's keep on opening in the same tab itself, right? In order to enforce to open the each files in a separate component, right? It's sometimes it's default not enabled. Okay, for that we need to go to the settings. So we need to go to the settings, either control, use the shortcut key called control plus comma, or go to gear icon, click the settings, and from the search settings, type preview. Okay, type preview and workbench editor colon enable preview. Make sure untick that option in order to enforce the files to open in a separate tabs, right? That is one of the things. Enforce. I'm adding some shortcut. Separate tabs. From settings, search preview and untick. Okay. Another one, the very productive features. Let me show you here. For this is the one of the Lightning Web Component. I'm trying to add some elements, some values. For instance, I've added any value. Okay, I'm trying to save. See, it's not getting deployed to the server, right? Either I need to right click and deploy this. I need to use this command to deploy this particular component to the server. SFDX deploy this source to Arc, or I need to manually use this SFDX command from the terminal, or I need to go to this Explorer to deploy, right? Or from Control Shift P, I need to use deploy this source to Arc, right? If you find that that is a difficult, whenever I click the save, Control S, or if I go to click the save using this file menu, if I want to deploy automatically from our local project directory to the Salesforce server, yes, that is also doable. For that, we need to go to the settings, either again use with the navigation or use with the key shortcut control command. And from the search settings here, simply type push or deploy. Okay, from here, see, as I mentioned here, there are two options. One is user and one is workspace. If you enable this feature in the user, it's applicable. Whatever the projects you're creating, that gets applicable everywhere from your system. If you enable under the workspace level, then these features enable only for that particular workspace level, right? I am enabled under the user level. So that means it's globally available from my computer. Whenever I created the new project also, these features enable automatically. Okay. Now I modified, I'm clicking save using Control S from my keyboard. If you noticed, it's automatically running the deployment to source to Arc command, and it's automatically deploy from our local project directory to our relevant server. Okay. So this is called quick deploy. From settings, we need to enable push or deploy the option. Okay, so another thing, actually, if you notice here, my Visual Studio Code theme is in the black colors, right? If you are not interested, if you need some color themes, yes, that is also doable from the Visual Studio Code. For that, we need to go to the gear icon and click the color theme, or use the shortcut key called Control K and Control T in order to set the color themes. So currently my Visual Studio Code, it's selected as a default theme, dark plus default dark. From your keyboard, the up and down arrow, you can select the themes. It's automatically getting previewed from the back end. So as per your interest, you can select the themes. These are the standard themes from the Visual Studio Code. If you want to get some custom themes from the marketing place, you can go to click this install additional color themes. This gets loaded from the extension of the Salesforce Visual Studio Code Marketplace. You can install as per your interest, right? So this is the way we can set the color themes also from Visual Studio Code. Okay, it's a kind of attracting as per your need. Okay, so another thing, I explained the theme. Theme is straightforward. You can find it from the settings, the color theme. Another one, reload developer. Reload window, actually, Visual Studio Code, actually, I can say. Why we need to reload Visual Studio Code? So, for instance, whenever we are supposedly we are installing any software from our computer, sometime we need to restart to reflect the changes, right? The same thing also from Visual Studio Code. If in case you are modified any settings, or even you install any plugins from Visual Studio Code from the extension of the marketplace, if that particular changes is not reflected, right, then in that case we need to reload or restart the Visual Studio Code, right? For that, we need to simply go to the command palette, either click Ctrl Shift P or go to view and click the command palette. Simply type from this command palette developer reload window, then click that one, it's get restarted, right? So as I mentioned, yeah, whenever you install the software, we are trying to restart, right? It's a similar approach. So to reload for the Visual Studio Code, go to the command palette and restart. Next tips is split window. For split window, okay, so if I want to compare the HTML component and JavaScript component in the same time, right? For that, if you see here, right corner, I'm highlighting, simply click and you can open the JavaScript file and HTML file. You can work together using this split approach, right? So either we can split the two columns, or if you want to need some more also, that is doable. Go to the view and from the under the editor layout, so you can select either the 2 columns or 3 columns view also, right? That is one of the things basically to compare between the two components, right? That's features also available in Visual Studio Code. If you're not already aware, go to simply click the split window or use this shortcut Control plus slash backslash actually. Another one, user snippets. For using these user snippets, we can automatically generate the comments. I will show you for the user snippets. To get that, go to the settings and click user snippets. Sorry, not here. Comment palette. From the comment palette, simply type user snippets. From here, it's prompt to ask which particular file you want to generate the comments, right? For my case, let me go to this Apex class. You know, as a best practice, whenever we are developing any of the new Apex class, as a developer, we need to add the comments before starting the class, and each method, we need to define the purpose of the class, right? For that, every time we need to either copy and paste from existing class, right? Or we need to get the proper command from any of the document and place it, right? Instead of that, we can define our own command from using these user snippets, and we can reuse whenever we want. That is very simple. As I mentioned, go to the command palette and click that user snippets, and it's populated preference configure user snippets, and it's asking which particular file you want to generate the commands. I am using this Apex class, apex.json, and here already have that syntax, everything, right? You simply copy and paste it and remove this. Okay, so I removed. Okay, so whenever I'm creating the class, so from main class, I need to define some static value, right? For the purpose of the class. So I am adding the Apex class, right? Here, the prefix is important. Here I am mentioning Apex class. The body, I'm just entering this class created for, so it's a generic, right? So this class created for some reason, right? And if you know some like author, $2 created by, sorry, created date. If in case someone created and if some later point of time someone modified, right? Modified by and modified by date. If in case any user story related or Jira ticket, right? If you want to highlight, we can highlight. So this $2 and 3 and all, I will show you why it's required. So even we can add something also. Okay, I defined this prefix as Apex class, and this body also I added. Here I added some description for main Apex class description. Okay, let me go to open any of the existing Apex controller. So basically using these user snippets I defined, and now I am in the Apex controller. So whenever I am creating the new class, so before the starting of the class, I want to add some comments, right? For that, okay, let me go to add this comment also. So here simply type Apex class if you noticed here, this it's pre-populated, the main Apex class description. Click that one, it's automatically getting generated from the user snippets file as we defined in the apex.json. Okay, so all the values gets populated. Simply we can click the tab and enter the purpose of the class name, and simply tab, and it's automatically coming in the each line. So the purpose of this $1 and $2 is after we entered the values, if you clicking this tab from your keyboard, it's automatically populated, right? Your cursor will be moved around. So you can create n number of user snippets. So from here, I created from the controlling for this main class. Even you can define for the method level also. For that, you can simply click that, add one more attribute, the comma, Apex class. Here you can define Apex method, and here also mention Apex method also. This method, something you can mention also. And from method level, we don't need all the things. Maybe we can add some short description, or we can add the parameters details, right? So once we saved, let's see from the method level, from I'm navigating the method level. I'm simply typing Apex method. If you noticed, it's getting populated with the relevant method. So only thing, this is the important things for this prefix. So once we define this prefix, then make sure we need to use that prefix in order to get the relevant information, right? This is about that user snippets. Another one also automatically generate the user snippets. I showed from command palette. You can go to click that user snippets to achieve. Another one for code snippets. For the code snippets, so we can, for instance, if we have that if loop, like conditional loops, conditional or for loop or while loop or do while, or even from the LWC also have that event related, right? Event, once we created the custom event, we are dispatching that event. All the syntax populated already from the code snippets. The only thing we need to navigate, for instance, if I want to use this Lightning Web Component event, right? For that, I open this JavaScript file for the Lightning Web Component. Here I want to enter the for loop, right? For loop. So if I know already the for loop syntax, that's fine. Even if you don't know the syntax and everything, simply go to the command palette, right? From the command palette, click that code snippet. One second, please. Okay, go to the command palette, and from the command palette, type insert snippet. Right? Once you click that insert snippet, here you will display all the statements. For instance, here do while, for each, for in function, if else statement, error, right? Everything will be there. If in case I want to for loop, simply click, it's automatically populated from your file. And you can simply change the values and you can achieve it for this for loop using these code snippets. For instance, if I want to need that LWC related thing, again go to the command palette and insert the snippet and simply type the LWC. Here LWC related statement appear. For instance, LLC1 toast, navigation, right? If I want to the toast related, yes. So you don't need to type everything, or you need to go to the library to achieve everything available from the Visual Studio Code. So only thing you need to know how to use it, right? That is about the code snippets to generate automatically some code statements. Another one thing called code lens. So I will show you the same thing. We need to enable the code lens. We need to go to the settings. Before that, I will type. Go to the settings. Go to the settings, and from the search settings, enter code lens. Here, enable the code lens for the JavaScript reference code lens, right? And yeah, enable this TypeScript also. That TypeScript is not needed. Once we enable the JavaScript, that's fine. Then let's come back with the JavaScript. Okay, so we need to enable the TypeScript also. Okay, if you notice here, once I enabled, I get to know the references. For instance, the references for this JSON object, 7 times for this particular files, it's get reference. While clicking the reference links, it's displayed all the 7 places also. What are the places it gets referred for this particular property? So you can easy way to navigate the places, and we can identify. Okay. Even this connected callback, 8 references. If you noticed here, these are the files level also, right? Even it's not only from the particular file, it's about if you know like all the files from that particular your project directory. If you see here, the COVID summary data, it's reference one place, right? So this is the place it's get referenced. So you can easily double click, and you can directly navigate that particular places. So code lens, using that code lens, we can easy way to identify the references for the particular property or function. Okay, so another one is key bindings. Okay, so if you know, like whenever we are going this command palette, we are using this shortcut, right? Control-Shift-P as a key shortcut. Even you can override this particular key shortcut also. It's for instance, I'm difficult to click 3 keys for Control-Shift-P. Instead of that, you have some predefined very easy way, right? So whenever I'm clicking the key called Control+1, it's automatically open this command palette command, right? So yes, that is also doable. You can overwrite the keys shortcut from Visual Studio Code. For that, again, go to the control palette and simply type, okay, from here, simply type keyboard. Okay, so if you type here, it's populated some of the commands called open default keyboard shortcut JSON, open keyboard shortcuts, right? So go to this default keyboard shortcut. So this is the place actually all the standard the key shortcuts appear. Let me close all the window. Okay, let me keyboard. Open default key shortcut. This is the default key bindings. So as I mentioned here, here it's all the default keys available. For instance, Control Shift P, right? Control plus Shift plus P. Okay. So whenever we are entering from our keyboard from Control Shift P, this is the commands executed. Workbench, action, show commands. So that's the reasons it's automatically appearing this command palette. Okay. So if I want to override, right? For to override, again go to this command shift palette and type keyboard. Okay. And open, not open default, this one, this the third one, preferences colon open keyboard shortcuts. One second, please. Okay, yeah. So open the keyboard shortcuts and click this JSON icon. This JSON file appear. So here we can place our own key shortcuts to override. Let's try to copy this command. Okay. Inside this square bracket, if I want to override, instead of the Control Shift P, if I want to make it as Control plus plus 1. Okay. Yes. I saved this key binding JSON file. Okay. From, if you go to this command palette, if you noticed here, this gets changed. Instead of this Control Shift P, it gets overridden as a Control plus 1, whatever we defined here in the key parameter. Again, from your keyboard also, if you are trying Control plus 1, it's automatically open in the command palette. Such a way we can override the key values, right? Okay. So this is the one of the things actually, as per our own, if someone, I'm familiar only this particular key, yes, that is doable using these key bindings if we can override. Okay. So one more thing actually, if you know, whenever we are creating multiple projects from Visual Studio Code, it's keep on adding in the catch thing, right? So sometime we need to clear the catch folders, right? Catch folders about our the project related files or extensions, right? For that, basically from your machine, go to these users. For mine is this MSACT, and from here enable the hidden items. So once you enable the hidden items under the app data folder, and actually here I am explaining about this Windows system which I'm using. I'm not sure about the exact directory about Mac operating system, but the approach is similar to clearing the cache, right? So go to the roaming folder and click the code. From the code, this is the file folder, main folder, all the Visual Studio Code related files appear. So make sure to clear the cache folders in order to perform in the better way. Yeah. So if you noticed here in my cache folder, it's a 103 MB, right? So make sure it's a frequently like 2 weeks once or 3 weeks once. If you are clearing the cache folder, we can get that better performance about your Visual Studio Code, right? Not only this cache folder, cache data, right? Under the cache data and cache the extension, if you are frequently removing, or make sure to clear this extension also, then you will get that better performance, the speed wise. Yeah. That is one of the things I want to highlight here. Okay. So, and next one, the terminals, right? terminal, from the terminal, basically, see, most of the things we can achieve from the command palette simply for the clickable. Right? Some cases, if you are familiar with the code level, right? So if I want to, instead of clicking multiple things, you know, I'm comfortable to add or entering from the terminal level. And if you want to change the color for this terminal window, right? For example, I'm clicking these plugins, right? So I want to change these colors, right? That is also doable. For that, simply go to the settings, right? From the settings, type the color, color customization. From the workbench, color customization, click this edit settings. Here you can define your own customization. And I found some useful GitHub which provided Glitch Phone. Here he provided some color themes for this, especially for the terminal colors. If you see here, it's keep on changing, right? So you can select as per your familiarize. Okay, let me go something. So okay, so if I want to decide this is I liked, so simply copy from clipboard. Okay, and just copy and paste it here. Okay, then simply click save. If you notice, it's automatically this colors get changed, right? You can define your own. Actually, you can just override this color background. Okay, and control space. And you can add your color also. For instance, if I want to avoid white color, this. Yeah. If I saved, it's automatically gets saved. Okay? So you can define your own style from this workbench color customization. Okay, so next one I would like to highlight here. We are running out of the time, I guess. Okay. So if you notice here, you can simply expand or collapse from your file directory. If in case if you open multiple folders or multiple files, if you difficult to navigate, and using this icon, you can easy way to collapse. That is the one thing. And scripts, this is the one of the main thing actually. So if you know, we are using this developer console most of the time to build our logic, right? Or using this developer console, we are calling some method, Apex class method, or we are using this developer console, we are scheduling this Apex class also. We have the scheduler class, but if you want to schedule from some specific time, basically either we can use with the UI using the scheduler, or from the developer console we can use some programmatically if we are passing some values. Such a way we can achieve that functionality, right? For to scheduling the Apex class. The same thing we can achieve from the Visual Studio Code also, right? So only thing, you can do the debugging, or we can add some logic and simply select that value and click Ctrl+Shift+P, and here SFDX. If you notice this, execute anonymous Apex with currently selected text. If you simply type and it gets executing, and you will get that result. See? Such a way we can execute the Apex class, the anonymous Apex class from Visual Studio Code also using this Apex. Even you can create n number of files also. The beauty of here is whenever we are doing from the developer console, sometimes we are modifying or we are adding the logic from the developer console from the anonymous window. And later point of view also we can view, and sometimes someone may have the chances to override, or it's automatically, or it's clear from the cache also, right? But if you are defining from the individual files also, right, test apex, we can use many n number of times. Okay, so this is the one of the few things from Visual Studio Code. Similar way, SOQL query also. From SOQL query, you can execute. Basically, we are execute from developer console or workbench, right, or data loader to get the result. The similar approach we can execute from SOQL query from Visual Studio Code. For that, execute. Select the SFDX command called execute SOQL query with currently selected text. Here the same. If you notice the developer console also, there are two ways we can execute the query, one for REST API and tooling API. Tooling API will support some of the certain objects, to getting the test coverage result object or some few objects. So such a case we need to use with the tooling API. The same thing Visual Studio Code also available. So instead of switching between from developer console, everything possible from Visual Studio Code also. So make sure we need to know that. I'm getting some error. I think Control Shift P currently selected. The query gets executing. If you notice, I got that result from my terminal window from the output. So here the one more feature is actually from developer console. Maybe we can install some plugins from the Google Chrome to copy the value, but this is a very easy way to copy and paste it from Notepad or Excel, right? That is the one thing. Even here also you can create n number of files, but make sure the file should, the extension should be .soql. And okay, so once you authorized, from your Visual Studio Code, you will get this icon, right? This square icon, right? So if you click these icons, right, it's automatically your relevant authorized, the default arc gets opened from browser. So you don't need to enter your username or password to open your arc, your Salesforce arc to browser. If you are simply clicking this icon, it's automatically open. Executing this command, open our command for the SFDX, and it's automatically open. Okay. And even many features available. If you notice these arc differences, from these using these arc differences, you can compare between your server, that means your arc between your local files differences also. We can identify using these arc differences, but this arc differences is a beta version. It's not generally available. So in order to achieve, we need to install, as like the local development server, we need to install the plugins called the source tip. So this is the plugin actually we need to install from the terminal. Once we install, we can difference the file against from your local project directory to your server. So currently these are the files getting supported. Okay, so that is one of the features also available. And even you can execute your test classes, your Apex class test classes also. Once you enable this icon, from you, it gets highlighted from the developer, how it gets highlighted from the developer console for if you're writing the test classes, some from your main class, it gets covered for the green color and red color. It's kind of highlighted from the your classes, right? The similar approach also available from the Visual Studio Code to execute the test classes. For that, you need to go to this test and execute all your Apex test classes, and then it gets highlighted from Visual Studio Code also instead of using this developer console. Yeah. And yeah, Visual Studio Code, it's automatically integrated with the Git. So once you install the Git, so you can easy way to make it commit or get the value from get the metadata files from your repository to here local Visual Studio Code also. Let me quickly show you that. Let me go to control. I will open the new window for that. So I covered most of the thing for the Visual Studio Code. This now I'm showing some of the important URLs where everything I used. Okay, so and one more thing, I already added this all the source file from my Excel sheet. You can view it any point of time. So this is about that local development. So whatever I covered, I get the values from here only. So this is the instruction to install the local development and view from your browser for about the Lightning Web Component. As I mentioned, we can preview only for the Lightning Web Component, not for Visual Force Page or Aura component. And even this is a beta version. If in case you are facing any issue, the Salesforce, feel free to, you can raise your issue, your concern. Maybe they will address. Okay, so this is the way you can provide your feedback also. You can raise the new case. Okay, and one more thing, actually whatever last 3 session I covered, right? So I get from this LWC recipes only. Okay, so simply go to Google, type TriGet sample calorie. Okay, so this is the first link you will get in Google search. So simply, so this is the one I covered last 3 session, right, including this one. So some of them, most of them I covered, some of them maybe I mixed it. Okay, so go to click this view on GitHub. So you will get to know all the components under the Force app, right? From main default folder under the Lightning Web Component, all the files appear, right? Okay, so Salesforce keep on updating as per the release. Currently it's a summer 20 release. The summer 20, it's a 49 API version. Okay, so okay, this is about. So if you want to get these resources for your Visual Studio Code, either you can download as a zip file or copy this GitHub repository and simply go to open your Visual Studio Code. Okay, and go to the source control. So make sure before going that you need to install the GitHub also. For that, Google it actually. Download GitHub. Actually, here. So you can download as per your operating system. Mine is Windows. I installed this one. Okay, once we installed, then we are good to clone the repository. So use this clone repository and paste it, whatever I get from this LWC recipe, and click this clone from URL and select the folder where you want to store. Okay, LWC. Okay. Select the repository location. Okay, it's getting cloning from your from Git repository to here. Okay, so if you open, all the files getting appear here also, right? So this is a way you can play around. So mostly you go to open and play around all the files. So only the key thing is you need to know how to create the Lightning Web Component before that, how you need to know how to set up this Visual Studio Code so that we can create or access the Lightning Web Component. And then you need to know about the basic thing, how to write the if condition or for loop or do while, or how to use this base Lightning component, or how to use that LDS Lightning Data Services, right? And how to use this Apex class to get the data from real time, right? These are the basic things. And also, additionally, you need to know how to use these events to communicate between child to parent or parent to child, right? These are the most things you need to know in order to build your Lightning Web component. So once you know this logic, you can go to explore from your project wherever you want. Right? And also the Salesforce provided lot of project also. Let me show you that. Okay, where did I get it? Okay, yeah. From the sample gallery, the Salesforce already built some application, the e-bikes and Trim House, LWC, CPU open sources. So even they highlighted what are the features they implemented for this particular project. For example, they implemented the project and they enabled this particular project in the Salesforce community, and they're using the Lightning Data Services and everything they highlighted actually. So only thing you need to know some basic info how to use this Lightning Web Component, and you can play around these particular projects, right? So many projects Salesforce provided, you can play around from your one. And this is what I want to show you. Then let me close. Even whatever I showed from Visual Studio Code tips, right? So from my channel SFDC Learn and Share, I captured most of the tips. So you can, whenever you want, you can play around. Okay, so one thing I missed out for getting the data from the external system. Actually, I built one application called COVID Tracker. That means we get that COVID-19 related information from one of the API. The API called something. Okay, so that's available actually from my repository. So you can play around. You can view my component. You can get to know how to get that data from the external system. Okay, and also from the reference links under the LWC episode Q&A, I added most of the reference links. So maybe whenever you want, this is publicly available, so you can use it whenever you want. So I covered most of the things. I would like to thank you everyone who participated and give the chance for me to having here. So,
Thank you very much, Madesh, for sharing these VS Code jewels with us. So again, thank you very much. And could you please share that Excel sheet link in the chat window so that people can take the leverage of this sheet? And there are a couple of questions people has put it on the chat window. Could you please look into those ones?
okay, so I captured all the things. Maybe I will provide the information later point of view. Maybe we can go with the quiz actually.
Yeah.
We can proceed with the quiz right now.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Give me a minute. I'll start the quiz and I will share my screen. Shakti, can you stop sharing your screen so that I can share mine? Let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Sachin, we can see it.
Yes, Sachin, we can see.
Yes, here is the game pin. So guys, go to www.kahoot.it and this is the game pin 786783.
Hi guys, please use your proper names so that we can verify it.
Yeah, don't put like AJ. Name should be proper. We will wait for 2 to 3 minutes. Has anybody facing any issue to join the game? Okay, now I'm going to lock that and start the quiz. If anybody is facing any issue, please put it on the chat window. Uh, the link has provided in the chat window, so guys can join. Okay, now I'm locking the game and starting the quiz. Here is the first question is coming. Configure LWC for community page home. Here are the answers. Oh, last one, Lightning community page. Okay, move. Piyush is going on the top. Next question, current Salesforce release. I think it's a simple one. Everybody know the answer of this question. Yeah, that's summer 20. Again, Piyush is leading, Naresh and Prabhu is following. Current Salesforce version. I think this one also is easy. Yeah, 49. Oh, Shukvins is leading now. Local development is in beta, pilot, GA or not available. Yes, is in beta. Piyush is leading. It is possible to configure a Turbo Secure from flow screen. True or false? Yeah, it's true. Piyush is on fire. All differences is in Visual Studio Code. When pilot, beta, GA or not available. Yes, in beta. Correct. Piyush Narration Prabhu is leading the quiz. Local development available to preview. Lightning page, Visualforce page, Aura component, LWC component. I think it's a simple one. Everybody should know the answer of this question. Yeah, 30 people know this answer. Piyush, you are rocking. Who is the CEO of Salesforce? I think this is the simplest. Yeah, Piyush is on the top. Oh my god. Who is Salesforce? When Salesforce started? Tricky. February 1999. Piyush, Naresh and Prabha is leading from the beginning. It is possible to create LWC component as a custom tab in Salesforce. True or false? Okay, now we have winner. Prabha Bhaskaran, Naresh Yadav is on second, and on first, none of other than Piyush. And so, Vishal, please take the email of those candidates. Okay.
Hi, Sachin.
Hi.
Congratulations to all of the winners. As we have the rules of the quiz, that the winner with the highest number of points in all of the 3 sessions will get the certification voucher.
Yes. Okay. So, as Vishal has explained, like whoever is having most of the number of in the quiz, in all the quiz, will based on that we will provide the certification voucher to those people. Okay. So again, I'm very thankful to Shaktival Madesh and his company TechForce for sharing this knowledge and certification voucher to the participant. So each and I urge to each and everyone just go to New Delhi sftcduck.com website and check our pre-post and upcoming sessions. Our next session is on Heroku. Speaker is Om Prakash. He's a Motihari developer leader and lightning champion. So it's on next week, Saturday, 1st of August. So Please go to the website and join that link, join that session.
Thank you so much everyone for joining today's session.
Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot.
And we would like to thank Satyavel Madesh also for organizing this series.
Thank you.
Thank you.